Hey guys, what's up? Grassroots Podcast. Before we get into it, be sure to hit the notification button to be notified for our latest to the greatest episodes. I'm one of the hosts, Brandon Killabh Hall.
Erin Ashley Simon.
I'm regular Nas. No alias today. Not yet.
What do you mean, not yet?
Not yet, man. Save it for the end. Save it for the end, guys.
What is
You don't have one, do you?
Yeah, you don't have one. Just say you don't have one.
I have one
Just
in
say
the
you don't
tuck.
have it. It's
I have one in
okay.
the
Everyone
tuck.
slips up. You know, Superman, Kryptonite. You know.
No, I got it in the tuck. Thank you. Moving on.
All right. I'm Wilson.
Be sure, again, to subscribe. Also, make sure you guys sign up for our newsletter. As we said, we always have our latest content and biggest announcements going through that platform, so be sure to look out for it if you haven't already had it or be a part of it. Wanted to kind of get pretty much straight to it. Late breaking news on our end, and obviously for you guys listening now. Rapper Juice Wrld has passed away. So this was a TMZ report that came out prior to recording. Juice Wrld, the talented rapper whose career was just taking off, is dead after suffering a seizure in Chicago's Midway Airport, TMZ has learned. Juice's flight from California landed early Sunday morning after deplaning. Witnesses tell us he suffered the seizure while walking through the airport. Law enforcement sources say he was bleeding from his mouth when paramedics got on scene. We're told Juice Wrld, real name Jared Anthony Higgins, was still conscious when he was rushed to the hospital. However, he was pronounced dead a short time after arriving to the hospital. The cause of death is still unclear at this time, and I'm assuming they're still waiting for the medical examiners. So obviously, rest in peace to Juice Wrld. Condolences to his family, friends, loved ones, supporters, pretty much his whole tribe. Man, we feel for him. Another young kid, who was 21 years old.
He just turned 21 on Monday.
Yeah, just turned 21. Nas pointed this out too as well. He recently, again, you die in the same day that John Lennon dies.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy in itself. But I think the craziest part is, again, this kid is 21. Like 21 years old, and another artist, deceased at such a young age, didn't even get to live out his full potential, or maybe he did. You know how the whole universe works. Maybe he was here for that point, and now he's gone. But just truly sad. I know there's a lot of speculations going out with how he could have died or whatever. I don't think it's responsible for us to get on it on that notion, considering nothing has really come out yet on this kid. But again, another life is lost for whatever happened. So definitely keep him in your prayers and his family in your prayers. You guys got any thoughts on this? What do you guys think?
We don't, like you said, we don't know what caused his death yet. But there's been a cycle of young artists dying, and it's been quite frequent. Mm-hmm. You have Lil Peep, Mac Miller. Yeah. Although his was. Nipsey's was a little bit different, but just his passing. Mm-hmm. Who else? There was someone else that also XXX as well. Yeah. And for those who we found out that have passed, due to drugs or violence, it's a cycle that needs to be ended in some shape or form. And I think that, especially when it comes to the drugs and stuff. The artists, we are in a society now with music where the artists are telling everyone about their drug use or telling everyone about their depression through their music. And I think that now we have to place a bigger responsibility on people who are around them and also on the label themselves to do the necessary things to make sure that these artists are okay and sound. And because, now it's like, Papa Molly, Lean, all that stuff like that. Like, Michaela even pointed out, that shouldn't be normal for us to talk about it. It shouldn't be normal for us to have that within the music itself. And I think that now, we're seeing too many people pass away young, and I think that we need to place a bigger responsibility on everyone. And I wouldn't just say labels, but even us as fans, and we need to place a bigger responsibility on ourselves too. Kind of goes back to our discussion. We're saying how sometimes the artists, when they put out the best music, is unfortunately when they're depressed or when they're on drugs.
It's the worst part of them.
It's the worst part of them. And sometimes they are weary about when they become sober if they will be the same. We had that conversation with Royce da 5'9", when we were talking about his sobriety. We were like, were you afraid of your penmanship going away? He said yes. Yeah. So it's a very complex issue that it involves every single body, from fans to labels to those who are involved in the camp, you know, and it's like, how can we end this cycle? Because it's now at a point where when a young, talented individual passes, you know, it's unfortunate. And I don't want us to get in a situation where we're like, you know, they're a young legend and we call them a martyr and all that stuff. And it like romanticizes that kind of thing in a sense. And I don't think we should be doing that. I think we should try to figure out how can we help those who are struggling. I mean, obviously the ones who pass out of, you know, unfortunate circumstances, we can't control those things. But the ones who pass due to drugs or depression or something, like, how can we break that cycle?
The narrative needs to change.
I mean, I think that it would be hard to break the cycle because these kids are dying from things that get glorified in the music, whether it be drug use or violence. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard to break that cycle because the music would have to change. The culture would have to change. This is the only genre where you see people dying like that, for the most part, whether it be violence or I don't know if he was on drugs or anything like that.
Oh no, not speaking to Juice Wrld. Like we said, we don't know what happened to him, but we do know of some other ones who've passed due to overdoses and like stuff like that, and some of them on untimely circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, we're not going to beat a dead horse. It's definitely unfortunate, but I think we would have an uphill battle to try to change the narrative in music just based off of what the content embodies, right? Like, it's about being turned. It's about being lit and having the latest drink or having the latest smoke, or for certain people, it's lean. Like, it just all is a part of culture, unfortunately. And I think that's the one piece of culture that is really, it's one of our shortcomings, I think. Like, it's one of the things that, while we glorify it and it sounds good in music, right? It sounds good, but when you really get down to the brass tacks of how it actually impacts an artist or the culture or just kids and the influence that follows, I don't think it's worth it long term. So I don't know if we'll ever get there, but I mean, I have hope, hopefully, that, you know what I mean? Like, Gianni brought it up too. This goes to the greater message that J. Cole was talking about, you know, about medicating. He was saying people self-medicate. It's okay to, you know, smoke weed. That's not that big of a deal. But when you start using other drugs and things of that nature that start to really take a toll on your mind, body, and spirit, I think the long-lasting effects of it, people don't really take into consideration as they're trying to heal or mask or just deal with whatever it is that they're dealing with in their personal lives.
Should we as fans take a little more responsibility within the climate of this turn-up music?
You mean by not supporting it?
By not supporting it?
No, I'm just saying, like, us as consumers, we dictate what the market is. We dictate the music. So should we be taking more responsibility? I'm not saying responsibility in their passing, but responsibility in the sense of where we are currently in the state of music. Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, I think that would go to Wilson's point. It's more so supporting it. I just don't know how that would work. You know what I mean? Like, think about how much music you would have to stop supporting or not listening to or whatever the case may be because of the consumption of it. And while that, I think it makes sense, I just don't know that enough people care that much because like we say on the show all the time, people just honestly care about the music. They don't really ever care about the artists and their struggles, right? Like, how many artists have we had on this platform that have often talked about, and not even just Royce, like even Red and Meth and all of them, like they all, they even talked about even venturing off from just traditional marijuana. They're like, oh, no way. No, we know what that is. Where there's other kids, it's like, yo, we've had guests on the show come on inebriated. You know what I'm saying? Not to shout anybody out, but there's been plenty of times where it's so embedded into the culture where it's like, damn, how do you maneuver around it?
Brandon, I have a question for you because you've worked with artists that have gone through certain things, and a lot of fans don't see that. I mean, they see it, but they either, like you said, they just kind of ignore it and just focus on the music, or they don't fully kind of grasp it. Like, for you, how is it to experience, you know, seeing a friend who has a music career or has an influential career that many people know about and having to help them navigate? Because it's like you want to help them, but people at the end of the day will only help them, like, will only get the help when they are ready to want to help themselves.
Yeah.
So what was that situation for you, seeing someone that you know struggling and then having them in the limelight at the same time and just seeing all of that kind of come about?
I mean, unfortunately enough, I've been exposed to it, right? Like all of Slaughterhouse was at one point just doing all different types of shit, right? They all had their vices between pills, drinking, drugs. Like it's hard to watch. It's almost like watching loved ones deteriorate. And even though you try to help or try to do certain things, at certain points you won't get through to them. And that could be from their own doing, right? Like me and Jove got into a bunch of fights about just his drug use at a certain point where, you know, it just gets to the point where it's like, damn, well, he's got to want to change. And then once he changes, it's like, yo, you know, it's not an issue. Like, I understand, but I was dealing with something. But to watch a person kind of do it and knowing that they're meant for greater and knowing that they're possibly stunting their own growth, and not even musically, career-wise, just them as a person, like how they can impact the world, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Like, even now when I think about certain moments, you know, it's just like, damn, like that, this could have really went completely left. You know what I mean? Like, it's a scary thing. Like, I think I even still to this day, I think once you're an addict or you have some sort of a vice as heavy as certain people have had in the past, I think for your core or your circle, I think there's always that fear, right? Like, there's always that concern. But in the same token, you look at it like, well, you know, what can you do? Like, a lot of times people will hide it or run around. You'll never know.
Yeah.
Like, for a long time, a lot of people that I was around in music, they were on all different types of shit, and a lot of times you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, they masked it well. They you would hear bits and pieces or you would see it, but even when you're seeing it, like Royce drinking, Royce would wake up in the morning and literally drink on tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you would see it and just be like, damn, he's wilding. But you would never put it together like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, this is something major. Thankfully, obviously, he knew it was a problem and kind of adjusted and got help or whatever.
Shout out to him. He's been sober for like more than 5 years.
It's more than 5 years.
More than 5 years. I remember when we interviewed him, he was at the 5 or 6 year mark. But
it's got to be around. I know I think his date is like September 13th. I think it's I don't know why I remember that, but the date just stuck out to me. But yeah, it's a tough thing. In short, it really, really is a tough thing. It's one of those things where you know you're powerless, and because you're powerless, you try to do things to try to not be powerless, which then makes the situation way worse. Like, there's things I've done where it's like, I tried to make the situation better and it didn't help.
Yeah.
Now knowing how, like, the drug use really manipulates a person's mind, and we're talking like real drugs, like Percocets, like real shit, or even alcohol. Like, talking to someone, I don't know if you guys have ever really, really tried to talk to someone that was belligerently drunk, meaning like you could see it that nothing is resonating as you're speaking to them. It's a challenging thing when you care so much about these people, and then you put them up on such a high pedestal because you've worked with them, or you could be a fan of them, or you have some sort of connection, and knowing that you just can't do anything, it is really, 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 really tough. There's no other way to describe it. It's almost heartbreaking.
Now, as someone who has 2 daughters, how is it for you to kind of deal with like the influences? I mean, obviously they're very young right now, but they're gonna get to the point where music like this, certain cultural aspects of turning up and etc. is going to be something that they're gonna be around, because it doesn't matter how much you shelter kids, they're going to see it, whether on the internet or whether via their friends. So for you, like, how does it feel to like having to navigate that, or even think about having to navigate that scene with your kids?
Tell them the truth. You're gonna end up on the street. I mean, that's real. I'm sitting here thinking, trying to put my thoughts together in a nice way without cursing and using, very nice words. But aside from Juice Wrld, people who make these choices, it's hard for me to kind of sit there and say it's the responsibility of the label or the responsibility of the friends. I feel bad for the man's family because they're the ones that are affected. His problems are over. Everybody else's is now beginning. Mm-hmm. With that being said, the way I would approach my daughters is, this is one or two things is going to happen. You're you're going to be able to control whatever you're doing for a minute, and then once you continuously use it, it's going to become you. Or you can just not do it. You can learn from other people's mistakes around you. I wouldn't lie to my daughter and say, like, well, I didn't drink and I didn't do this and I didn't. This is what I did, and this is how it turned out for me. I can't sit there and say, like, oh, it's back to the original thing you were talking about when it's the responsibility of the label. So you're an adult. You have to make an adult choice. We can't keep hiding around, well, everybody else has to look out for you. You have to look out for yourself. In Islam, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but your body has rights over you. You have to take that responsibility on.
That's deep, by the way. Not to cut you off. That's deep.
What?
That your body has a right over you. I fully believe that.
Yeah.
I'll explain why, but that's a really good point.
But yeah, like, I don't want to get on the soapbox again. But
No. Go ahead. I want to see where you're going. I want to see where you're going.
Like in Islam, they say everything's gonna talk about you or against you on the Day of Judgment or Yom Kippur, right? Everything from the fly you swatted to the gnat or the ant you stepped on to your body to everything will speak and say, well, this is what this person did. Now, with that in the back of my mind, I have to say, dog, you're an adult. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't take too much. And I understand that people have problems. People, when they grew up, they were abused or they felt like, the world was against them. The world doesn't feel sorry for you. The world doesn't. The world keeps going. If you have good friends around you, like Brandon and Wilson and Aaron, G, Bam, if you have people around you who care for you, you should stop and listen to them. But at some point, I have to stop talking. My cousin is on the corner back in Mount Vernon getting punked for alcohol. That's not a joke. He's really getting punked by some people around him who take his little welfare check and spend it on Colt 45. If I go to him and say, yo, me and my older cousin Wayne, if we want to hit the street and say, like, yo, we can tell these dudes to stop, and you cursing me, then I'm gonna let them dudes do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep going there and saying, like, oh, come here, let me help you. You're an adult, but bro, you're 45. You're almost 50 years old.
I want to preface this by saying too, though, keep in mind, I just had this conversation over the weekend, literally about some family shit. But keep in mind that it is a sickness too.
Yeah.
Like, it is a sickness. It's alcoholism, drug addiction. It really is a sickness. Like, if you've ever, I've gone to NA meetings. I've seen it. Like, and talking to these people. Like, even Joe's mom is a big advocate of it. She goes to all the ceremonies. She supports everyone. I think she's a counselor, the whole nine. But even going to some of her anniversary ceremonies and seeing these people really fighting their demons, like getting up on that podium and saying, yo, I literally almost broke and I'm scared. Like, you break for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough thing. So I always try to just keep that piece in mind until it's no longer rational for me to even, kind of deal.
But that's also where I said that there has to be, like, at the end of the day, for you to get better, it goes back to what I said. Like, you have to want to get better in order to get better. Yeah. But also, like, there's some people that it's an illness. They're too deep into the depression. They're trying to figure out, like, I've dealt with depression and anxiety, and sometimes, like, it really feels like water's up to your neck, and you don't know how to get out of it. You're trying, but you don't know how to get out of it. And then sometimes some people, like, they want that relief. They just want at least a minute or an hour of not feeling it so heavy. So that's why they take the drugs or alcohol, just for a second to just have some relief from it, because you're living with it every single day. Yeah. So there is some responsibility on the labels and those around them, because if you see someone you know, who you love, who you care for, or who is I hate to say, a prized commodity, because labels, that's what artists are to them. If you see them drowning, at some point you got to figure out, how can I get them out? Like you say, you can't always help those who may not want to be helped. You can't always, but at least there has to be something that needs to be placed or done in order to keep them alive or to do something. That's why there has to be responsibility on those around them. There has to be responsibilities on the label. And even as fans, like, it's our responsibility not to, and it may be hard, but we have to take some responsibility in the fact that we are romanticizing and popping mollies and lean and drinking all this stuff like, oh, yes, it's great. And people dying young. Oh, he died a legend and a martyr. Like, we got to stop this.
Tell them the truth. I'm sorry. Wilson,
No, it's all good.
Tell them the truth. You just died young. You didn't die a martyr. You're not going to die a legend.
But the fans, but sometimes the fans place that, they don't place that on themselves. Sometimes the fans after place it on them. Not all, but some.
Yeah, and that's not to cut you off, but that's where the confusion comes into play. He is 100% right. A lot of times, people that have passed gruesomely, they're more so mourned positively because of their death, not realizing that they should be really focusing in on why this person committed suicide, or why they overdosed on drugs, or why they were even anything has happened. You get what I'm saying? Like, they place more emphasis on, oh my God, this person was a legend. He impacted so many people. But okay, if he's impacting all these people, why does he feel the need to go a different route and lean on substance? Like, it's a really fragile thing.
And and listen, and when I say take responsibility, I'm not saying that there aren't people that don't try and help. I just want to make that very clear.
Definitely.
There are people that try, and sometimes you can try your hardest, and you can't help everyone. It's unfortunate. It's sad that if we could help get everyone out of their addiction, that would be wonderful, because it's hard to see someone go through that. It's hard to see someone go through depression where literally they don't want to even get out of bed.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, we need to do more in order to help these situations. We need to do more in order to stop that. And I also think one thing that we could do better is stop talking about depression, mental health, such a bad thing. Yeah. Especially in the Black community. It's like, mental health, you don't have mental health. Go sleep or go figure it out. Like, we have to figure out how, especially within the Black community, how to stop making conversations about mental health a bad thing. If you're depressed, make it seem like, you're weak. Like, there's certain things that we could start to improve and help those by working on some of the things that I think that, especially within our community, are looked upon as bad, which is contributing to a lot of these other problems that we're starting to see.
Yeah.
And especially mental health in general. I think mental health in general is getting better in terms of people talking about it, but it's not, like, people don't quite understand it. They don't understand, like, there's a difference between, like, having a mental breakdown versus seasonal depression versus, like, a more clinically depressed, state, and just all these different things. And, like, even for example, like, I have a family member, I'm not gonna say who specifically, but I had a family member who was manic depressive. And we could all tell, and we were trying our best to help. And finally they realized, and now they got help, it's a whole different person. But, like, sometimes people don't realize the things that these artists or these people do is not them. It's the illness, it's the addiction, it's these other things that are making them do some of these things.
Exactly.
That if they didn't deal with those, they wouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be the person that you have this dismay towards. You know what I'm saying? Like, to your point, your family member got help, and now they're back to just being who you knew them to be. So I think that's really, really important.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, you would think that the labels would step in at some point because it would be in their best interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird that they kind of just seemingly sit back, don't try to recommend help or anything like that.
But that's the thing. As weird as that may sound, right?
Yeah.
That's not the business of the music business.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? The music business is about you. You are a ticket.
They figure the drugs might be seasoning the music.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Why am I going to be? Why am I going to be on you if you feel like it's making great music and the label is doing well and we're reaching all of our budgets and we're not ending up in the red, we're in the black.
Yeah.
Why would I stop that if I'm a label? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how these people think. They don't really care about not all labels, but for the most part, like, y'all don't find it odd that record labels don't provide health care? Like, every other corporation, Fortune 500 companies offer health care. Why do music labels not? They offer artists money, budgets, fucking marketing, everything else but healthcare.
Are they artists considered private contractors?
But even if they're considered private contractors, I just feel like without artists, think about it. Without artists, labels don't exist. What do labels do? Respectfully.
They find other artists to replace the artists that they have.
That's my point.
But question, why has any artist, I don't know if any artist has done this, has any artist tried to like negotiate having healthcare benefits and certain things within their contract?
I think there is some sort of music healthcare offered out there. This dude that I know, he's a producer, and I think he had mentioned like after you have like a certain amount of accolades or something like that, like you qualify for some type of healthcare underneath like as like being like a music producer or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So I think there is something out there, but
nothing.
But that would be something like I would like, especially if you're someone who's getting millions and millions and millions of views. Like XXX was making millions and millions of plays and stuff, views before he was even signed. So it's just like, I don't know. I always wonder, like, maybe it's just not understanding like certain. Lack of knowledge that may be going to play. But I wonder if, like, there are artists, and I would love to know if anyone knows an artist that has negotiated certain things like health benefits and certain things that typically aren't negotiated within their contracts.
The only person I know that negotiated anything outside of music was Roxanne Shante. She negotiated education, and that's why she has her doctorates.
That's dope. So paid for her to go to school.
Yeah, and they thought she was going to stop at, like, college.
That was proven false. Like, she came out years later.
Oh, I didn't know.
She came out years later.
I'm wrong.
oh, okay.
That would have been,
Thank you, G.
been fire though.
That would've been.
That would have been fire though.
A story that was told was like a victory
That-
story for a while.
He said it was a victory story that was told for a while. Sorry, I'm going to have to repeat because I can't.
No,
hear.
I dig it. Listen, man, I was wrong. I thought I was under the impression that she negotiated. That was dope.
But even still,
But you lied.
someone can negotiate that.
I mean, I would like to know if anybody knows even if that's offered. I would just be curious to know because
I mean, players like, and I say players because I'm also considering athletes because they also have those things. Artists and athletes, I know some of them negotiate in terms of like helping to like get like money in advance to help with the parents' down payment for their houses and cars and stuff like that. But I wonder if like someone has to negotiate like, hey, I want you to pay for or get the money for my like siblings' college education or health benefits or I know some of them work on, the ones who have really great agents get like stock and all that stuff and investments and et cetera. But I wonder like if there's any artist like young starting out that has negotiated a deal where it's like, because especially if your first contract is not always your best contract, right? So it's like always like figure out like how can I make the best out of this contract where I'm not blowing my money and I have some long-term investments or long-term benefits.
all still
that
while
will
looking
help.
like a rapper.
While also looking like a rapper,
Like-
You know that this early death isn't just hip hop.
It's
hip-hop
rock.
death.
It's
all
all.
genres.
Yeah,
of
we're
music.
talking. The way I'm speaking, I'm not talking about just hip hop. I'm just because we're vast in hip.
Yeah.
Me, I'm vast in hip hop. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But this is across the board. Like
Yeah, the two earliest people I could think of is Janis Joplin and
Janis Joplin.
and Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, but more so recently is
Yeah,
all
we're
the
talking
rap.
about recently.
Yeah, right now think about it. It's
Well,
at an all-time high. Like
well,
I was
that's
looking at a list that came out, and
That's because while you look up the list, in my opinion, again, hip hop is reaching those teen years. Hip hop is relatively young compared to rock. That goes back to our discussion before about who's selling more. Rock has been around longer.
So, yeah, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but check out this list of artists that we lost this decade: Mac Miller, Nipsey Hussle, Fredro Santana, XXX, Peep, Prodigy, Smoke Dogg, Jimmy Whoop, Speaker Knockers. I don't know. I'm not sure where that is. Lil Snoop, L.A. Capone, Capital Steez, Nate Dogg, ASAP. Damn, Nate Dogg did die this century. Fuck. ASAP Yam, Shorty Low, and Bankroll, and Guru, and now.
But those are a
A
mixture
couple
of
of those dudes
illnesses.
were natural causes.
Yeah, those are illnesses.
No, I
violence
know,
and drugs.
I know,
But yeah,
that's
we lost a lot.
but I'm just saying.
But
Just
it's still
think,
a lot.
I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
2019 was the year of the Reaper.
Like Jesus, like when you look at this list, is insane.
Yeah.
This list is nuts.
It's
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
But like even some of the things that, even some of the I guess the conversations around the passings from, we've had conversations about when people go back and help their city and like the safety issues with that.
Yeah.
Putting more of a focus in terms of health and awareness for mental health and et cetera, whether it's for those who die from illnesses and et cetera. It's unfortunate that, you know, all these young talented people are passing, and I think there's a greater conversation to be had around all this, and I wouldn't say greater conversation in the sense of just like, you know, unfortunately, like, we're all gonna die one day. I hate to say that, and you know, and I think that. No, just because not everyone can handle death well, and I say that, you know, because some people may hear it and everyone has different triggers, right? So that's why I wanted to just say that quickly. But I think that these passings, it's unfortunate, and rest in peace and condolences to their families and stuff. And I think that now, like, we need to have these conversations about the health aspect, where we have like renowned artists who are passing from like cancer or something like that, or drug use or mental health. I think that there's a greater conversation around like how can we work to improve these things, the health benefits, the awareness around mental health, the discussion around that, the cultural impacts of the things that we are putting focus on more so than others. I think that right now is just kind of like we should be reevaluating for the next decade and how we can improve the current environment that we're in and the current conversations that we're having surrounding things that people are continuously dying from.
Yeah. It's definitely unfortunate. So again, prayers, condolences to everyone that was lost. On a lighter note, though, while we talk about mental health and just trying to change the content and substance, Snoop it just came out recently that Snoop Dogg's actually going to drop a Lullaby album, which is pretty interesting. I'm wondering what that will encompass. I wonder what that content will be like.
That was a crazy segue.
Well, I mean, we had a whole conversation about
switching gears
about just substance. So I mean,
Lullaby album.
I mean, Snoop Dogg can do whatever.
That's
honestly,
what I'm saying. Like,
at the end of the day, he can do whatever. He's also like now going to be a commentator in the new NHL video game.
Yeah, like
he has a show with Martha Stewart. This
fire.
is a guy who literally went from gangster rap now to being beloved in everyone's household.
Cooking
Everyone
food.
knows cooking, doing reggae, lullaby, video games. Like he in terms of like finding celebs that can easily transition to different industries, like he is the perfect example.
Yeah, 100%.
Of how to do these switcheroos and still stay yourself at the end of the day. That's the most important thing.
He's really the Godfather. Like,
He's a dog father, to correct.
I know, but I'm saying he's like the Godfather of hip hop. He's one of those people that you just never know what he's gonna come out with, and it's always very intuitive. Like, remember when he did the show with Martha Stewart? And I think it's still doing that show. I'm assuming, but. When that first came out, it was like, wait, what? Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, like this?
Yeah, Martha Stewart is real.
Well, yeah, we
came
know
out
that,
Penthouse.
and she did, and she did a bid.
Yeah, she made a comment.
She did a stint.
Snoop Dogg put up a picture of Tekashi 6ix9ine and said, you know, something about snitching. And you know who commented under that?
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
What'd she say?
No snitching.
Yeah,
No shit.
That's real, though.
She did a
That's
year
real.
for not telling, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
real.
she didn't snitch. I gotta give it to her.
That's real.
What'd you say?
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah. She did it.
you can't make that up. Like that's great.
I mean, she didn't snitch.
Yeah.
Yo, look how versatile he's been throughout his career, though.
He's
man.
hip-hop's
Like when you
Madonna.
watch, like when he first started with just straight gangster rap, who'd have thought he would be making a lullaby album?
He said he didn't. He said that image that Death Row portrayed, and he didn't really like that whole beef.
Yeah.
He said, "Yo, I like the East Coast. I like New York. So I wanted to mess with them dudes." He said, "This has always been me."
Yeah.
But you're right. Who would have thought?
Just saying, man. He's
Yeah.
done reggae. Then he also did like an R&B album,
Yo,
right?
he's done everything. Like, really
He
think
really
about
has
it.
done
Sensual
everything.
Sensation.
Everything he's done.
And also thinking about it, like for as much weed that guy smokes, I couldn't like. If you think about the image that he had for Death Row Records, like I can't see him beefing really because he'll be so
He's so
high
chill.
and chill. Like
Yeah,
he
so
is just so chill. Now I did see him turn up on an interviewer when he lost his Gangsta Gaming League thing. She was like, "How did it feel? Like, how was it to lose?" He was like, "What the fuck are you asking that question for? How do you think it is to lose?" Like it was it was
He
hilarious.
has little moments of like, "Yo."
I ain't gonna lie. If you get Snoop mad as the amount of weed that he smoked,
Nah.
you had to have done some stupid shit.
Snoop
Like,
definitely has a temper, though. Like you can see it.
Are you
You can
going
see-
up? Are you
you
going
can
up
see
as
it.
rolling baby boy? I hope you're not going up for baby.
I'm
boy.
just saying.
Nah, he did
It's
do
in
an
there.
interview in Europe when they do it. Was like, yo, you came late. And he looked over, he said, I'm here now. But he said it with way more curses.
I don't even think he can get high anymore. Honestly.
You think so? You think he just smokes?
How
just
high do you
because-
think he can get?
No, he can get high. I
think
saw
so?
It. I saw it firsthand. He can get high.
Yeah?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but his
Like he
stuff started
changes
cool.
like
Like he was
personality
in the
wise?
interview, he's like, "What to do?" Like you could see it. I was laughing so hard. He's one of the very few people who can hotbox like a 3-4 story room. Like,
Who? All right, I got
and I was freaking in that room, and I can't lie.
All right,
I was high just being in that room.
Contact.
I have
Hotbox the whole
I have a
place.
question for you now.
What?
You've been in 2 hot box situations now. You've
Oh,
been
Lord, yes.
you've been in one hot box.
Yes.
Well,
Red and meth.
Red and meth. We all were in the hot box
I
with
was
that
not
shit.
there.
Yeah.
Well, not you, but you. So who do you think would survive the hot box war if there was a war?
Definitely not me.
Yeah, word. That was eye of
Definitely
contact.
not me. Gosh, I was trying to remember my questions when I was
Word.
there. Who would? I don't.
A smoke-a-thon, a smoke-off.
To be honest, I would love to see that. I would love to see a smoke-a-thon with Red and Meth, Snoop, and Wiz.
Yeah,
Because
Ooh, I
they
forgot about Wiz.
all
forgot about
can
Wiz.
handle it.
I'm
Like
just going to skip over the old white man with the red bandana, Willie Nelson.
no, Willie Nelson. No. Did you not see?
You do know that Snoop Dogg said Willie Nelson was the only person that could outsmoke him.
He's retired though.
Yeah,
he
we
already said he
smoking.
doesn't smoke anymore. He just
Who?
consumes edibles.
Who,
It
Willie
came
Nelson?
out recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was like news going around saying that he was smoking again, and I think like his son or whatever, they were like, no, he doesn't smoke. He retired from smoking and smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
Now all he does is ingest it.
Because he
Edibles are
can't get
worse.
high. Because he can't get high.
Edibles are worse.
Yeah,
He
edibles.
can't get high from smoking anymore.
Edibles are different though.
So yeah, let me get a little brownies.
let me get a little brown.
But yeah, Willie. Okay, Willie can be like he could be like the referee for it.
Yeah, he could be something.
Who do you think would win?
I
I'm
don't want
curious.
to be anywhere near that.
I don't
room.
know,
I'm
man.
gonna be like, yo, that's my house. This is
don't know.
Brandon's house.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to I would have to be like in another room watching it via
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
because them alone in one room, like it doesn't matter how high the ceilings are, that whole thing's gonna be hot box.
Yeah.
Like it could be a 5-story room, that's still gonna be smoked out.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd survive that.
No, I would not survive that.
No, I know I wouldn't survive. I'm just saying. Like
You're
that.
gonna pass out on the couch.
Yeah,
man.
that's a lot. That's
That'd be a
lot.
good way to go, boy.
I mean, you're not gonna die. You really gonna just pass.
Take me to the hospital.
Yeah, word. Just take me.
Some people, no, but there are some people that like after edibles, they definitely felt like they were gonna die. I think Redman said that.
Yeah, I've seen some trippy shit.
I've never heard
seen
a story of
some-
somebody overdosing on marijuana.
Oh no, I've seen it live in action. I never told y'all that story. Oh my God. Long story short, a friend of mine was doing edibles or whatever, and just really, really long story short. You remember in the movie Wolf on Wall Street where he took the ludes and he was crawling. He was like, I'm trying to get to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that happened to, but she was trying to open the car door, but she was at the trunk.
You super smacked.
Like she was like over the car leaning like this, like I'm trying to open the door. And I'm like, fam, you're at the trunk. I'm like, MP, get her. Get what's happening right now. Yeah, I've seen some wild trips.
Super smacked.
Yeah, I've seen it. So, all right, but moving on.
Snoop Dogg Lullaby.
Yeah.
What's up, cuz?
Trying to go to sleep, cuz?
Yeah, I'm so curious to hear what it sounds
Put your baby
like.
to sleep,
though.
cuz.
It's probably gonna be fire.
I think it's gonna be fire. But what is a Snoop lullaby? Like,
You gonna
really?
play it for your kids, Nas?
No.
Snoop definitely has that he has that very like I wouldn't say like monotone voice, but very like soothing voice, even when he talks. Like when he gets
Yeah.
excited, it changes, but for the most part, it's just kind of like
It's neutral.
everything he says is like right here,
Monotone.
just right here. It's
What
on the
happens
same
when
level.
you're consistently high?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's
It's a
up?
vibe. It's
Hey,
a vibe.
hey, everybody.
How you doing?
It's Uncle Snoop Dogg.
Well, in trailer world, ladies and gentlemen, a bunch of trailers came out this weekend. Some teasers and some trailers. Two being Black Widow teaser came out, which was for me very underwhelming, and then Black Twitter. I don't know where
Black Twitter trailer
I
came
don't know where the Black Twitter trailer
Yo, a
came
Black
from.
Twitter movie be fire. It would definitely be better than the Facebook movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I meant to say Wonder Woman 1984 trailer we just watched, which looked really, really good. Yo, My only gripe with the Wonder Woman trailer, like we were talking about early, is just that this guy, what's the name, the boyfriend's name? Steve Trevor. Yeah, he's apparently back in the 1984 movie, and I don't know how I feel about that because again, the point of him in the first movie was to kill him off to do character development for Wonder Woman.
We don't know exactly what he is. We don't know if he was cloned. We don't know. Like, we don't exactly know yet.
I know, but they better not do like what Power does, where they bring back Angela in these premonitions. Like now the spirit is just walking with Wonder Woman. Like that. Don't be corny. Like let his sacrifice.
You didn't like Angela coming back?
No, I hated it.
That would be whack.
That's whack. For the first 3 seasons, where you start to see like, you know, Ghost have a conscious, or first 3 episodes rather, where you start to see her come back. I'm like, all right, cool. But to now have her still being a reoccurring thing, I really hope that they don't do that with Wonder Woman.
That's his conscious playing with him, man.
That's fine.
Yeah, let her get a check, man.
Yeah, they need to bring
Get
Roller
that
back.
check.
Oh well, no, yeah, yo, I saw. We're totally off. Did y'all see Roller in the? It's like a Snuggies commercial. It's like, oh my God, there's Roller. He's alive. He's alive. I liked Roller, and I thought he was a good actor.
Roller was his man, man.
Yeah,
That's what they needed to bring
I'm a
back.
little bit nervous with Black Widow.
Why?
Well, that's what I really wanted to get
Well,
to.
also because the storyline, like the fact that her and Hawkeye were like more like brotherly, sisterly love when they're supposed to actually be like love.
That changed.
And then also like I want to know like. I just hope that they don't change her story too much because people really don't know about Black Widow, period. Like, I know a lot of people that, like, when they're watching, they're like, Black Widow movie? Why are they doing a movie on Black Widow? What's going on with Black?
She has a
I'm
lot
like,
of
you
red in
have
her
to
ledger.
watch.
Yeah, there's a lot. She's a government Russian agent or whatever.
Yeah,
and
KGB. Then she left and then, like, went on the USA side, and then that's how,
Doesn't
like,
this movie
her
take
and
place
Hawkeye.
before Endgame?
Yeah, so this takes place.
Well, this is I think it's when
this
she's, like, training.
Yeah,
She's
this is
training as
after.
a-
This is the in between.
It's after
this is
the
after
war.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Going into Endgame. So this is what happens where you see them kind of everyone breaking up, where she's now got the red hair and running militant, and this guy is running around as I'm having a brain fart. Not Black
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye turns into who? I can't think.
Ronin?
Ronin. Where Ronin is being Ronin. I'm assuming they're gonna all put that together and give us the backstory as to how he got there.
They're going
how
to
she's.
Budapest. They're going to Budapest.
Well, yeah, I know that, but for me, and again, I know it's a teaser. I had a whole big argument with someone. I was like, yeah, the teaser was underwhelming. The guy was like, well, do you know what teaser means? I was like, yes, I know what teaser means, asshole. I'm just saying that I've seen some really good teasers, and that for me was very underwhelming.
After Civil War, but before Infinity.
After Civil War,
but before. I'm sorry, I got it
But
wrong.
they're going to
Sorry.
do flashbacks to her early days as well.
Yeah.
Which we
This
saw.
is why Marvel just fumbled, right? If you would have put this, if this movie would have came out last year, where Captain Marvel is, then her death would have been more impactful in Endgame. That's just it.
I think her death was impactful regardless.
No, man, it would have been. I would have cried.
I think-
Yo, if she doesn't die, they don't win that battle.
I know, but I'm saying Captain Marvel. We did not need Captain Marvel. Let's be honest. Captain Marvel was the weakest out of all of the Marvel movies, right? Captain Marvel sucked ass. Nobody needed that movie.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Out of all, look at the all 20 movies. Captain Marvel was not needed.
Yeah, but you needed Captain Marvel to come in and be that
Yeah, you just
that
wanted her to
glue.
show up.
Yeah, like you needed that.
Yes.
At the end?
Yeah, that's
Violent.
yeah, because it would have been way more impactful. Then you bring her into her solo movie.
But you still got to do an origin movie regardless.
No, you don't have to.
Why not?
I didn't need to. First of all, the way Nick Fury lost his eye with the cat.
Hell,
total
yeah,
BS.
that was. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah, I
That's
hated that. I hated that.
But come on, man.
But I mean, a character as strong as
That wasn't a normal cat, though.
debatable. Cats are really like that in real
Cats
life,
are
but that's a whole nother thing. I don't fuck with
Captain
cats.
Marvel
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they are. I don't fuck with
Comparatively
cats.
speaking, Captain Marvel sucked compared to the other Marvel movies.
I think also it's good that they didn't put the Black Widow out yet because it actually caused a lot of non-Marvel fans to be like, wait, what's her backstory?
Yeah.
Who is she? And it will hype it up a lot more. I think that because in the previous ones, it wasn't really a focal point on her. If they put it out, I don't think it would get as much viewing and attention as it is now. Because
Yeah.
now people are actually intrigued about going to go and watch it.
I get that too. I think you think about the lineup of the movies that came out. She wouldn't be the strongest. Like I think she would get lost in the shuffle. I think that they probably had plans to do it and then saw or didn't foresee like Black Panther taking off the way that it did. Then Spider-Man movie doing extremely well. Like you would get lost in the shuffle, and then God forbid that Black Widow movie is not as strong as they would like for it to be.
And then she died. And you're like, wow,
and
that was
something
underwhelming.
happens. Now you're like, damn, you have a good run of all these movies, and then you have that one bad one, and that's the one that's supposed to be giving you character development to set up these next
Captain
phases.
Marvel. That's exactly what happened to Captain Marvel.
I think Captain Marvel wasn't necessarily like, even though like there was a focal point on him, I think it was just more so of an easy way to transition every single character into what was going on, and because like. If you had all these separate movies and there wasn't one movie or one person that was the glue between everyone, it would have been people. We have to think from it as people from the perspective of people who do not look at Marvel comic books. They would have got lost. They would have no idea what was going on with anything. And at least with Captain Marvel, with patriotism, that's something that at least they can understand.
Yeah.
And then having a movie where like the characters are being introduced via him, it keeps them the focal point there, and it's easier for non-comic book people to follow and understand, because they would have got lost. Yeah, and even if they did individually and did it like how the comic books did, they would have got lost.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
even now, some people are still asking questions like, wait, so Ant-Man's important? Like, wait, I don't understand. Why was he like the most important? They still are asking that question.
Yeah. The character development is crucial, and I think it's at some point you have to get character development. And how do they get that extra oomph in Endgame, that one person that still embodies justice and all these things? If Cap is out, they don't even know where he is. Iron Man wants nothing to do with the beef currently. He's on some, listen, I have my wife, I have my kid, this is heaven for me, and then everyone else is all over the place. You need that one character to be the glue that is strong and gives these people hope. The person that needed to see Captain Marvel more than anything else was Thor. Thor was binging, he was drinking, like he didn't even care. The moment he saw someone strong in the building, he said, okay, no, I like this woman. Yeah, this, all right, maybe we have some hope. And for her to be like, all right, I'm leaving. They're like, where you going? She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go kill Thanos. Like, I'm not playing around with y'all. Y'all over here playing. Like, I'm here to get busy. Like, you needed that character to set up the powerhouse. And I think they did a good job.
Yeah, he started drinking after.
No, he was belligerent drunk.
Yeah, but that was after they killed him, right? They took off his head. He destroyed.
No,
his souls.
he was drunk going there. He was probably drunk in that fight. Like he was inebriated, swinging the axe, missing and shit.
No,
what do you mean?
After they took off his head.
Am I bugging, G? Am I bugging?
He was depressed beforehand.
Yeah, beforehand. He was already in a
He
stupid.
thought he stopped him, but he still snapped. So he was
Yeah.
even more sad afterward.
And that's when he
Yeah.
got the belly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth getting the belly. Oh, that made me so sad.
he looked like melted ice cream.
Take the belly away, please, for all of us who are watching.
Well, I was happy. He has abs. I don't. So I was happy he had.
Even with the belly, he could mess up every single person in this room. So, you know.
I don't think he has hands.
I think I could take him.
I don't think he has hands.
Yeah, I think I could take him.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Thor. I'm not talking about actual Chris.
like real Thor? Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
real Chris, he don't have that belly.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
tell that was a very fake belly.
Yeah, it was computer generated.
Yeah, but I don't think Chris Helmsworth has hands like that.
You don't think so?
You never know.
His hands is in the basement.
You never know. I feel like he's the kind of person who would like take like karate or some
Yeah, he's
stuff,
probably-
like go into other cultures and stuff.
Fact,
like
if
that.
Lupe could be a full-on ninja on Instagram, anything is possible.
Big
son.
du- listen.
He is a samurai.
Big dudes like that don't have to fight because for the most part of their life they've been bigger than everybody, so they don't have to really fight. Like LeBron James' hands is garbage.
That's not true though. I know. I like even like big security guards. You'll be surprised because I used to think that
they have to fight. Because
no,
they're
but even then,
security guards.
what I'm saying is, there's times where they go there thinking ain't nobody gonna mess with us. Like we 6 foot something, and you'll be surprised how many people will try the big guy just to see if they can take him because he's the big guy.
Yeah, and sometimes big guys are quick.
Oh yeah, well I know some big quick guys. Like they're big, and you would never think that they move the
Andy
way that they
Ruiz,
move.
man.
Yes, yeah. There's a few people that are very, very big and can move extremely quickly, and you would never even think it.
Ballerina toes.
Yeah, you gotta be.
You ever see big dudes with the crossovers?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Escalade.
Some of the illest handles
RB
on big
Escalade?
dudes.
It's kind of inappropriate.
Well, also some big dudes.
A big guy with a crossover. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate.
Also some big size physique guys. they grew tall out of nowhere. Like they were short.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Davis was not that tall for most of his life, and then he just sprouted. That's why he has good handles. Mm-hmm. So just saying though. Just saying.
Still waiting for my sprout.
Shout out.
It's coming.
It's not.
Maybe I don't know. Do they got like, do they got pills like that people try to sell to be like, you take this, you get tall. You know how they got the pills out there that says that you elongates men in other aspects. Do you think they got pills that would like
increases like height?
Yeah.
I don't know. You would ask Wilson.
There is no
They got them at the gas station, Wilson.
I think he could confirm.
only on the black market. But
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that is fucking hilarious. All right, we off this.
We're off.
So really quick, R. Kelly and Aaliyah news back in the news, unfortunately.
Skip.
So I mean, we reported out on this a while ago when that R. Kelly documentary came out. But recent news has confirmed that R. Kelly, in fact, or it's been confirmed that he used bribery to marry Aaliyah, and she was, I guess, the caretaker of all of these women that were going through this whole big thing. And now it's just now coming out between fake IDs, bribe court authorities. And then also it came out that Aaliyah's music could potentially be on streaming sites in 2020. So what do you? I mean, y'all already know how I feel about Robert. My stance does not change
Cancel.
on this. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about her music.
Yeah, I'm not really there.
In
with
other
her.
news, water also wet.
Yeah, like I don't. This isn't a shock for anybody in this room. We said this a very very long time ago that we knew. When somebody of that stature has a significant amount of money, they could pretty much do anything. They're damn near untouchable, and obviously we've seen where that's led him.
Plenty of people who are still untouchable.
Yeah.
Out here in these streets.
My question to you guys, I was like 50-50. I was really, really excited to find out that there's a possibility that her music may be available on streaming services, right? But I'm 50-50 just because 50% of me is like, damn, I would love to just listen to Aaliyah again, even though I have her music, right? That's fine. But then I think about the other aspect. Like, I think about where the music now takes me in listening to her. How do you guys feel about that?
Hello, Aaliyah, man.
I love her music. I mean, there's certain songs I actually do try to avoid because I know that R. Kelly was behind it.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid them. But there are songs like later on in her career when she was starting to get into movies and everything like that. It's still good. I was a massive Aaliyah fan. So for me,
I can
like,
tell.
I there were very few celebrities that like I was like distraught when they passed, and she was one of them where I was just like, oh my gosh. And because she had so much more. I feel like she was just beginning.
Yeah.
And then it's just boop.
That's always how it
And it's like,
happens, man.
I was very sad.
Why wasn't her music on streaming platforms to begin with?
Her state and her
state,
family.
yeah.
Like if her state and her family do not want it out,
But
just
why
for-
didn't they want it out?
because maybe
They
they
could've
didn't.
made money
Maybe they
off
didn't
that,
want
right?
people to make money off of her
Yeah.
legacy. You know.
But they would have made money too, though, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not about money.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about money. It's not about anything. Like, I had this conversation, not to go back to Joe, but it was a Stack Bundles record. It was a record that he was supposed to release like years ago called Chainsmoke. And on the hook of that record is Stack Bundles. It's probably like one of the last features that Joe ever got. And one day I asked, like, yo, why won't you release it? And he was like, no, it's not to be released anymore. Like, once Stack Bundles passed, he was like, nah, I'm not releasing no more. I'm like, why? He was like, just because that's the one piece of him that no one ever got to hear that I got to hear, and I want to keep that for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of families feel like that. They, especially Aaliyah's estate. You think about it, when there was rumors that Drake was gonna do a Aaliyah EP, and the estate stepped in. Now, mind you, Drake said, "Hey, that was never a thing. Like, you guys made it a thing. I just made 2 records with Aaliyah samples, and you guys came at me. I never confirmed that." But for the families, they were like, "Well, no. Like, we want her legacy to remain where it is." So that could
Question.
partially be the thing.
Do you feel like part of the reason why her music's getting released now is because R. Kelly's getting out of here? Because I mean,
thought about it.
the timing is very like
I
it's very
thought about
interesting
it.
because he was behind some of her most popular songs, which means that if they put it out, he would make money from it still. So the timing seems interesting.
And that was my thing. I know that he may own a large portion of her publishing still to this day, especially now learning about all of the legalities that he was able to get around between court documents, fake IDs, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, his album's out with him.
Huh? What is that?
The album that he produced is out.
No. That's the only one that you can
No,
find.
they're saying
though.
all
of it.
music.
Yeah, all of it. But what I'm saying is, I wonder, and this is pure speculation. I wonder if they are releasing it to help him because he's in a bad financial position to help him with his court documents, between paying out all different types of court fees. I wonder if someone in Aaliyah's family still may have a connection with them,
Or maybe they're releasing it because they know he's gonna be out of here.
Yeah, or maybe they know
Could
he's
be
gonna
it could be the latter. We don't know,
could
but
be one of the
it's just
two.
interesting timing.
Yeah.
To see, because that was her estate were like tight on anybody
They
using
shut
hers, and they shut
everything
down a
down.
lot of stuff. And then to get the news that it will be coming out in 2020, I don't know. Listen, it's just a theory. It's just a theory. It may not be accurate at all, but I just thought it was just interesting timing with just some of the stuff that's going on with R. Kelly, and then the news of it being like we'll probably get access to all of her music now.
Can't wait.
How do you think Timbaland feels? Timbaland went on a big rant for quite some time when he started seeing like verses come out. Same thing that happened with Drake. He was one of the people that he stepped to Drake like, yo, how you gonna make an Aaliyah album and you didn't go through me? Do you think that the family went through or even needed to get Timbaland's blessing in order to even put this music out? Or you think they just did it just because they're the estate, they can do what they want?
I don't know. I mean, if it's records that he produced, then, you know.
Common courtesy, you thinking?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Hey,
if she recorded the vocals with him.
with him.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I'm sure he did, but it now boils down to rights, royalties, and the estate managing that. So I'm assuming maybe they probably didn't even needed to have a conversation with him.
I mean, you should kind of go through him because he was such a big part of Aaliyah's career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Why?
saying?
Why, if I own the music and I'm her father, her mother, her brother, or whoever, forgive me, not her brother, because I think her brother passed with her, right? Or somebody was on the plane with her.
I'm not sure, but
yeah, I know.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
look
apologize
it up.
if
We'll
I don't
look it
know.
up. I know that people
But-
obviously did pass in that plane crash.
If I'm her family rather, and I own her rights, why should I have to go through the producer who owns nothing to make sure everything's aligned?
Yeah.
I'm just asking why. I'm not trying to.
Well, you know, releasing her music or whatever else, you're about to carry on her legacy.
Right.
Why wouldn't you contact somebody who was a major part of her career and everything else? You know what I'm saying?
don't
As far
have
as music
to.
goes,
No, Rashad didn't.
you don't
pass.
have to, but why not?
Her brother didn't pass.
Okay.
His name is Rashad. He just his name came up like I think a few months after because he had to take his sister's place when they were doing the press junket for Queen of the Damned.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't see the purpose of me asking one of the producers for permission to release my family members' music.
Yeah, I don't think that they honestly asked him permission. I think that Timberland is just one of the quote unquote protectors of the family in the sense of like he has a lot of the relationships in the music industry.
Right.
So instead of going directly to the family, people probably go directly to him, and he probably is the one that relays and says no, like that's not what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
The same way that Missy Elliott is probably very, very protective as well.
I can see them being protected. Like I can see the family saying like, "Yo, this is what we plan." Just give them a heads up. But my whole thing was I don't know if they should ask permission. I can see them giving them a heads up, like, "Yo, Tim,
Yeah.
this is what we plan on doing in 2020."
Yeah.
I can see that, and
Not
I think
asking permission.
And I think they do that. You know.
Yeah.
I think that that estate, like we said, was very tight knit. Like very like no one could do whatever they want with Aaliyah's music.
Yeah.
So they were more so gonna make like new songs and records with her, right?
Allegedly, again, want to say allegedly.
Yeah.
Even the Drake shit,
But-
it was alleged. He did go on record to deny, and there was like one other artist that hinted at saying,
Was it Chris?
Chris, yeah,
it Chris?
yeah, I think maybe, but there was either way, none of them wound up being substantial. They were all deaded by the people that made those announcements.
But I'm just saying, if you're gonna make like new music with like her vocals and whatnot, you should get in contact with people that spent a lot of time with her in the studio
for mixing purposes and
may have a better understanding of her vibe.
I mean, Timbaland's
so
definitely
you
going to
could
work
do
on it. Like,
something
that's,
respectful.
But this is my only thing. How do you tell the estate, whomever that may be, what the vibe is? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that could be a mom, sister, or whatever that probably would know her, at least in their eyes, best.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying? I don't know.
But then if they're not gonna, get in contact with the people that actually worked with her, what are you guys actually trying to do?
Yeah, Chris Brown has a song with her. Right?
I mean, it really just depends on. It really just depends on
sampling.
what they're putting out as well. Like, what was the intent behind it, right? Like, people got mad just because Drake was gonna put out an Aaliyah album, and they allegedly, and this was around the time people started saying things like that Drake was stealing a sound and just recreating and sampling, and that's when I think this was around the time when the whole ghostwriter stuff came out, and because of that, they shunned him, even though he never even confirmed it. So I wonder if it has to do with the person that is trying to put out Aaliyah music, or is it just because, hey, you're trying to put out Aaliyah music and we didn't approve it? Like, I wonder if the representation was different, would the estate be mad or block it?
Yeah, there's a lot of legalities that come into play, especially when you have estates, because it's not necessarily. I mean, from my understanding, if you're a lawyer and listen to this, definitely correct. But from my understanding, when it comes to an estate, it's not like it's one person that's making the decision.
No. Yeah.
So it gets, and of course, the family is taken into consideration. And usually, what happens, I believe, with this state is that they'll designate like maybe one family member to kind of like oversee things.
Yeah.
I think like with Prince is his sister, right?
Yeah, his sister, but again, they didn't even have the best relationship either, though.
So,
which is very interesting. I wonder how she got to be in that position, because
he didn't have a will.
Yeah, but Prince he's gone on record on multiple occasions saying he didn't have the best relationship with his family. Like,
he didn't have a will, so it deferred to her. That's what they're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Weren't they trying to sell it for like $85 million?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, but that kind of goes back to, but
that's why you hear his music in like commercials now. Like the same thing with Michael Jackson. These are people that would never put their music in commercials.
Yeah.
Especially like Party City.
Oh my gosh, yeah, wasn't Prince's in Party City?
And Michael.
That was like the first one. We're like,
Michael's
whoa.
Yeah.
They had Thriller, and this is like, yo, fam, for real. You know how protective these guys were of their legacy, of their music? And you're just going to throw it as, yo, Party City, offer this check. Cool. Yeah, we'll take it.
But how do you feel about albums after people pass? I don't know. For me, that feels a little bit weird to me. Like, if it's like, okay, I understand, like, if it's like maybe the first one after, because they have so many unreleased songs, but then when it like continuously becomes a thing, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird for me.
I mean, the music just don't sound right.
It don't sound right.
doesn't.
Like it'd be like a little offbeat or something like
that. You have an engineer,
like auto tune.
You have an engineer going in and putting verses on new modern music, while the mixes that were originally recorded back in 1980 whatever sound crazy. You then go in to maybe try to EQ it or even try to fix it up to clean it up to make it sound listenable, and it never comes out good.
And the beats are always kind of cheesy for whatever reason.
Yeah, like it's never a good beat that's like, yo, that is it. It's always like, you just kind of force this record to happen.
Shoehorned it in there.
Yeah, like it. I think it won't do well, or records like that don't ever do well, just because the sound does not sound organic. It sounds very, very contrived.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if I owned Prince's music, I would pull it off of everything.
Yeah,
I would keep it for a few years.
Wait, also
That's just me because I'm a fan.
I know.
And I'm going to be mad selfish.
But also another thing
please.
too with Prince, with his situation. Remember when he changed his name to the Symbol? So then what? So what music is under the state, and then one's still owned by the labels as well?
question.
Because he changed his name because they were holding rights to
That
his
is a
music.
great
So
question.
He got all his music back.
when did he get all his music back?
I think when he took the name back. He changed it. Everybody called him the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, but no, I know he went just by the Symbol.
Yeah, it was just by the symbol.
But because he was that dude, they still called him Prince, formerly known as Prince. But even with that, like the legalities with that, like then it goes completely under his estate. So he took. So did he take all masters back, or?
If I'm not,
Let's look that up, because that also is really interesting.
That really is a great question. I'm literally here stumped. The only thing that I remember is that because he couldn't put out music, that's why he changed his name. It was really while it was marketed as him doing this to rebrand himself, which he was rebranding himself, be it the symbol, he also was trying to do that so that he wasn't pigeonholed in his contract so that he can still release music. And that's why he was so big on being an independent artist and owning your own masters and things like that, because he himself, like most artists, get caught up into that rat hole of owning
2014.
labels.
Okay,
and
so
stuff.
2014, he did get full control of his music rights, but okay, so he did get it. But what if he passed before then? So, well, I guess my question would be like, if he passed before he got full control,
Then
how would it be?
Warner Brothers would own
We'll
whatever
own a
that
portion of it.
Yeah,
a portion, yeah,
Yeah, the
a
rest of
minority,
his.
but it would be whatever is under whatever was under that symbol.
But would he have been able to like re-record some of the music? Because he literally did a lot of the instrumentation for the song. So would he have been able to re-record it under the new symbol and then have ownership of that?
Well, they do
don't
that
know.
sometimes. You can. So what happens is like.
Because I know that Taylor
this-
Swift was trying to do that.
This is a common thing in music, right? So let's say Wilson gives me a record, right, and I want to use the record, but Wilson says, "Hey, I want $5 million for this record." I'm gonna tell Wilson, "Hell no, I'm not giving you shit. I'll
your
go.
record back.
Yeah, no deal.
No, we can make a deal. I'll just go take your record and then I'll go play it for Nas and say, yo, Nas, you're an engineer, right? You're a producer, right?
Yeah.
I need you to replay the instrumentation on this record.
Say less.
And then after you play it, you can either slow up the BPMs, or you can raise them, or you can add stuff in it so that it doesn't come across that Wilson can say, hey, that is my record.
You could still get sued for that.
You could still get sued, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is it happens. I've seen it the same way. There's times we've had to do like replay records just because the sample in the record just costs too much. So you wound up having to play the entire record over because of that. A replay happens a lot. Sometimes it goes under the rug, sometimes it doesn't. Case in point, with the Robin Thicke and Marvin Gaye record,
They tried.
They tried it. They tried it. It was a replay. They had someone, if I'm a betting man, they had someone go in and try to recreate that sample organically with sounds and things in different instrumentation to try to throw off that they were actually taking a record. It's
like-
so common.
It's like the Vanilla Ice joint. My record goes din 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 din. din.
Yeah.
Their record goes din 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 din.
Yeah.
When he sampled Queen, he
Yeah.
sampled Queen, and they were like, he's like, no, it's a completely different record.
Yeah.
It's like,
but that's the gamble you run now, because
Did he
now,
win that?
huh?
Did he win?
No.
No,
Oh,
hell
he
no.
lost? All right.
Oh yeah, bad.
That ice got melted
Yeah.
real quick.
Queen said, if you don't give me my money,
my goddamn money.
my
I really don't know why artists take those chances these days. It's not smart, especially with people now looking and with technology the way it is. It's just not smart. You're bound to get caught.
But it's also funny how, I mean, it's, I don't know if funny is the best word. It's very ironic how artists always get mad and upset when they talk about people ripping them off and taking their stuff, but then they go and do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I find that very ironic.
It is.
Quite hypocrites, I must say.
It is. It's a
Isn't
dog
it
eat dog
ironic?
world in
don't you
music
think?
business.
Oh, my fault. That's what Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
You never listen to Alanis Morissette?
Yes, I have. My mom used to play
Yeah,
her.
but you're just.
Are you ready? Yeah.
Why is your lip like this? Why do you do that?
That's how
Why-
Alanis
Yeah,
sings.
whenever he
Is that
starts
Alanis
singing, he always does
Yeah,
that.
like what is it? Like, why do you
Yeah.
sing like that? Like, is that if you were to be a soul singer, do you think that your Bubba Gump chin has to be over the mic in order for you to like?
Do you think that
The
Nas...
underbite.
Yeah, like
This is obviously a different artist, but do you think that Nas is like what's his face in White Chicks when he's like, this is my jam, and it comes on a song that you don't even know that he was gonna play,
Ted
and he
Cruz?
starts singing like, making me wait downtown.
yeah, he is.
I know that song,
100%. I know that song
See,
too.
yep, he's definitely
I
like
know that
him.
song too. Did you know that song because of that movie? After that movie?
I knew the song before.
That song
No, I'm
is
saying
fire.
Oh, him.
It is fire, but what I'm
That
saying, no,
song's
I'm saying for
fire.
all of us, right? Did you guys actually start? You obviously knew the record, you heard the record, and that's I think what made that part funny. Is like, oh my God, it's this record. After seeing that movie and then knowing the record, did you now put it in your?
My
in
mom was on that. She played that. She played. What's it?
I'm a bitch. I'm a Shania Twain. That's my shit.
He wasn't outside.
She played
Wilson
all
was
of
not
them.
outside.
Of course, I know that song.
Wilson was
He
not
doesn't know that
outside.
record.
Nah, you know what song I
Feel
like?
like a woman.
That I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one in a Cheeto bag. How's that song go?
No, not
Who is that
definitely
Alanis
not
Morissette?
Cheeto
I never
bag.
heard that record.
Yeah.
before.
No, I know what he's saying.
One bag and a Cheeto. One hand.
I
You know what I'm talking about?
I just look like I don't know what this
No,
guy's
it's
singing
me.
about
No,
right now.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. I got
I
one
know
hand
that
in my pocket.
I don't.
It's Alanis Morissette.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, hand in my pocket. He is right, but the Cheeto bag, I don't remember.
That line is definitely in there.
Let me check. I don't
Please.
remember.
I've never
it.
heard a Cheeto bag in a record.
Let me check. Well,
It's in there.
Your face tells me you're unsure.
It's in there. All right.
You don't have that Ray J confidence.
Y'all think I just came out of nowhere
I
with
got
Cheeto
one
bag?
hand in my pocket and the other one's giving a high five because I got one hand in my pocket and the other one's flicking a cigarette because I got one hand in my pocket, the other one's giving a peace sign because I got one hand in my pocket and the other one's playing the piano. I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one's hailing a taxi cab. There ain't no Cheetos in there.
Hold on.
You got one hand in your pocket playing with Cheetos, man. What's
Hold
wrong
on.
with you? Jesus Christ.
Might have been Doritos. Hold on.
Doritos. I highly doubt she would do that.
You
because
might have OD'd on some
that's
Doritos.
like free promotion. That's like
Yeah,
free
word.
promotion. That
Yeah.
song was popping back then.
Alanis Morissette is not doing all that.
Word. Well, hold on. Here's one of my good segues before he finds out that he just didn't do the Cheetos in the song. Did you guys hear the Nick Cannon and Eminem beef is reignited?
Oh my gosh. No,
It's back, baby,
is
by
it-
popular demand.
is it bad that it's just like why should we care?
I honestly want M to stop, respectfully.
Like, why should we care at this point?
I honestly do.
Everyone needs to just live their own
Yeah, just
lives.
like-
and first of all, Mariah doesn't care because she's getting a big check. It's Christmas time. She don't give a crap about what you guys are arguing about. And also her song that she wrote about you and Obsessed was a hit too.
Yeah.
She gonna live her life.
no.
Nick's gonna live
That-
her life.
that Eminem
You
diss
should live your
song
life.
with her
Everybody
vocals.
should just live their lives at this point. For me, like I just don't care. In a very nice way, I don't care about this beef. I really
over it.
don't.
You know what? It's another beef that's up there. I keep saying it so often. Ja Rule and 50 Cent. I'm over it.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm over it. Certain beefs just have to die at this point.
Some beefs
like
need to stay in the time capsule that it was back then.
I feel like some of those old beefs that still are lingering. I feel like it reminds me of the movie Grumpy Old Men, where y'all are like 80 on a fishing boat and just beefing still. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
great.
it's like, let it go.
Also, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Like when you have like that like high upper echelon status, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to be doing certain things. Just be
can't wait-
you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Eminem. Like
not
there's
Indian,
others.
listen.
That's my wish.
They can literally just be you. And you're fine. You don't have to do all this stuff.
My wish for M into 2020 is really for him to be more in the forefront of kind of pioneering this new culture, or trying to cultivate, rather, is a better word, not pioneering. Obviously, he is a pioneer. Cultivating this new generation. I feel like he's one of those artists that is truly amazing and still maybe trying to figure out how to fit in this day and age, and because of it, it causes him to still leap out and just diss people that no one cares.
It's like you don't have to fit in
Yeah,
though. Like you're
like M is
Eminem. You
M.
don't have
Yeah,
to fit
like-
in. You are you. Like
I would have much rather him just be silent going into the new year and then just coming out with something just amazing. Mind you, don't get me wrong, the verse on the Fat Joe record, it's a good verse, but the moment I hear the diss is like, all right, we back to this. Like it's one of those old dogs still using the same trick type of things.
Nick Cannon is transitioning into daytime TV. He's not going to respond.
Well, not for nothing. If I'm
he's
being,
gone the opposite way of daytime.
He did respond, and that's where
Nighttime host?
No. He
He's
responded.
hosting. He's going to host the TV
he's
show.
owning. I mean, he has a popular show. Like, I mean, he's on the.
Yeah.
He's chilling. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
good. He's chilling.
Now,
No, I'm just saying he went in the opposite direction because that's how he lost that NBC gig.
Well, because he threw on that turban?
Yeah.
Nah, because of his stand-up special.
Well,
Where
Nick
he said,
Cannon did.
NBC stands for niggas be something. He said something crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I read that, but
Don't mess up the money.
well, yeah. But
Yeah.
Nick Cannon did respond via IG and said, now, mind you, Eminem made reference to obviously both of them dating Mariah Carey and both of them obviously having sexual relations with her, and then pretty much telling Nick Cannon, like, what, you thought she was a fool? I told you that she was crazy and all these other things. So then Nick Cannon takes his Instagram and says we should change his name from Eminem to Percocet. He said, "What's the pill old people use? We should change it to we are going to call him Cialis. Get out your wheelchair, Eminem, and pop whatever you want to pop." Obviously, just taking a jab at him and his past drug addictions and things of that nature. So.
Everyone needs to just chill.
Yeah, I just think
Like-
it just doesn't need to happen.
And I also
Like,
think this is
why?
a beef that like no one's really like no one's looking for. No
Who
one cares.
benefits from this?
No one cares. Like I'm tired of this whole like beef marketing thing. Nobody cares. All we do care about, at least I do, is like what value are you bringing to the culture? What value are you bringing to the community? Are you helping to provide a like an opportunity for upcoming acts? Like
Yeah.
I don't care about you guys beefing about who you slept with because I'm telling you right now, Mariah Carey is probably laughing her way to the bank right now. No one cares.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I can't wait to see 50 Cent and Ja Rule fight in like 40 years when they're like both old and decrepit and they're gonna throw out their hips.
I would give that to 50. 50 is
At that age?
50. Listen, it's like Mike Tyson. You ever seen you seen those recent videos of Mike Tyson just teaching other boxers how to throw body combinations and stuff? Do you see how he is moving at how old? How old is Mike Tyson now?
Yep.
I say all that to say, not to say that 50 Cent is Mike Tyson, but what I'm saying is 50 Cent is a Golden Glove winner. He boxes, right?
He won Golden Gloves?
Yeah, I believe so.
Word?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wait,
He has a
wait.
boxing history. We can look it up. I'm almost certain that he won Golden
Golden
Globe. I'm
Gloves.
almost certain that
Mike
he won
Tyson?
Golden. No,
No, 50.
50 Cent. I'm almost certain that he
Mike
did.
definitely
Or he
won
has some sort of boxing.
I was like, wait, I'm confused.
Background, and he boxed. I know that for a fact. That said, I don't know that I would.
75, 80-year-old 50 Cent versus 75,
Yeah.
80-year-old Ja Rule?
Let me check real quick.
fight.
I'm almost certain that was the
Fight,
case.
young man.
Man, listen. For 2020, let's have the new decade be the decade of the non-beefs. Like, if you want to beef, keep in the music.
Yeah.
If you want to beef, like, but also I feel like when you're at a certain status, like, why are you beefing?
I mean, sometimes people get bored too.
Yeah, you got nothing better to
Yeah,
do.
but can't you just then like get a new house or get a dog or like find a new mistress? I don't know. Like, just do something else.
Anything.
Like, I don't know. Just do something else.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I like that Eminem, this song he had against Mariah. When he had her vocals on there.
Before?
No, like, yeah, when she did Obsession and then he released that record and he had her vocals
Wait,
on
wasn't
there.
his before she had released Obsession?
No.
No. Wait.
There was one before. And
There was one before.
There was
Okay,
one
so
where he
which one are we
alluded-
talking
There's
about?
one to where he alluded to her, but didn't say anything outright against her. Then she came out with a "Why you so upset?"
from Baghdad.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
then it was the Obsession. Then he was like, "I still got the." Yeah, with her vocals, right? Yeah.
Well, I
That
want to
came after-
open this link, but it says
He
it
had
right
a-
here
I'm
where
Mary
it says
Poppins, baby.
it says, "Did you know 50 Cent was a boxer?"
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Hold on.
It's I don't know. I don't know. People got to stop beefing. Let's change the script a little bit.
Switch
Put
it
out
up.
more music.
Yeah.
Come on,
Do
guys.
something. I don't know. Like,
I'm sorry.
Is it wrong? I mean, maybe it's just because like I don't know.
All right, yeah, this
like,
is-
is it wrong to be like I don't care? Like I don't like I don't really care that you guys are beefing.
No,
Yeah, no, it's
that's
not.
the best
It's
way
not.
to live, Aaron.
I'm for beef.
Nobody cares.
Y'all know I'm for beef,
Like,
but
I just
I
don't,
like
like-
new, fresh, competitive beef. I don't like this type of beef where it's just like this is like let it
It's
go.
like drawn out.
But yeah, so I did find it. So it said, long before Candy Shop and all of 50 Cent smash records, 50 used to box. He was extremely talented and won a number of boxing tournaments. But his future wouldn't be in boxing. Many believe him to be the best rapper ever. Prior to that, saw a huge future in 50 Cent's ability to actually become a professional boxer. So yeah.
So he didn't win that Golden Glove, but
Yeah,
he
no.
did, but he had a substantial career.
He won tournaments. Like, gotta be doing something winning tournaments, and it's
Yeah.
plural with an S, tournaments, not just one. So never. I say all that to say, I don't know that I want to see them fight. I don't know, and I don't know if Ja has boxing history. I don't know, but just knowing that piece and knowing a trained fighter versus a street fighter, and I don't know how you'll fare with that one. So. But yeah, basically. You remember that? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so that's it. I don't really care. I want their beef to end. It's over with. I think it's run its course, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So
Maybe
we covered a lot today.
Maybe next week we'll cover Queen and Slim.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
It's a good movie. I feel like, man, it's so good, but it's also very sad. It's very, very
I'm
sad.
not. Yeah, I'm already sad. I'm not doing that today. I'm already sad.
Brandon definitely shed a tear.
Yeah, no, I'm already sad.
Did you shed a tear?
Shout out to Uncle Earl.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Listen, we're not doing that.
Uncle Earl was funny, man.
Well, people didn't see it, so relax. Let us know what you guys think about all the topics today. Do you want the Eminem and Nick Cannon beef to end? Also, tell us your thoughts and some of your memories that you were able to experience viewing Juice WRLD's growth and also to his demise. How do you feel about it? And then lastly, as always, be sure to hit the notification button to be notified for our latest to the greatest episodes. And please make sure to subscribe to the newsletter, as always, because we keep the latest and greatest announcements in there.
Yeah, we may be making an announcement soon. And also, we'll be dropping the content from the live show.
Yeah,
like
we did that.
Full, extensive, drop.
I just want to say we did that in unison. Like when you said soon, I was like soon. Like I went under you.
You
Oh,
jumped
it's
in. It
little-
wasn't really
like-
unison.
I know, I was trying to piggyback.
Little-
Piggybacked off of.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
different levels.
A little bit.
No.
You don't know. It's fine. I'm Brandon Killabh, y'all.
I'm Erin Ashley Simon.
I'm Lex Diamonds.
Lex Diamonds.
Who's Lex Diamonds?
Don't worry about who that is, man. Regular night.
I waited this whole entire show.
Hey, don't worry about who that is, man. That's me, bitch. Straight up.
Google it.
I'm Wilson.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you
And we
need,
out.
man.
Peace.
Grassroots.